So welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. The Thing is being remade, or should we say a new adaptation? Because a lot of people are going to see this and go, that was terrible. Basically, people are going to see this and go, you can't remake John Carpenter's The Thing. It's not strictly true. It's not originally John Carpenter. Yes, he popularized it, but it's not actually his work. He adapted a novel, or a novelette, a novella. So it's not technically his work. Now, this is a report on Dread Central. Now, they say that Blumhouse is rebooting The Thing. Okay, so this is Universal Pictures and Blumhouse, which is interesting because this is something Blumhouse have been pairing up with Universal a lot recently. We've got this happening over on the Invisible Man, which is releasing next month. Very surprising. They do seem to be working together quite a lot. Maybe a new partnership is a-blooming. But anyway, they say that they're developing a new adaptation of The Thing, which will be inspired by the full-length John Campbell novel Frozen Hell, which we'll get to in a second and take a look at. Now, producer Alan Dons took to Facebook to break the news, writing, "It's official. I received my signed contract and first check. I'm executive producing a remake of The Thing." Again, shame he's using the terminology, a remake. I'm not too happy about that terminology because it's technically not. And sadly, it's going to make a lot of people very unhappy when they see that. They're going to see remake and then they're going to go, nope, I'm not down for that now. Whereas if they approached it more from the angle of an adaptation as opposed to a remake, then you'll probably get a lot more people on side. Now he continues and he says, but with additional chapters of John Campbell's groundbreaking novel Frozen Hell that had been lost for decades. So that's why we're going to take a look at it, because that is interesting. Now, for the first time ever, Campbell's full version will be realised on the big screen. The new film will include the very best of RKO's The Thing from Another World, John Carpenter's classic The Thing, and both books, Frozen Hell and Who Goes There. Many thanks to a lot of people, but none more so than the heirs to the story, for their faith and trust in me. I said I'd get it done, and here we are. I am forever indebted to you. So, who is Alan Dons? Because that's what a lot of people will be thinking. He's not really done too much, in fairness. He's really done nothing, to be fair. A quick look at his IMDb bio, the mini bio. A native of New Orleans, Alan began his entertainment career as a comedian before acting in Bad Dinner Theatre. Now, this is quite good. A comedian turned to horror is actually really, really good. Comedian writers know timing, so they know tension, so that could be good. After tiring of being relegated to only comedies, he went back to stand-up comedy and quickly found success as the opening act for some big performers, blah, blah, blah. Nothing too great there. Now, from here, he said, after appearing on Showtime's Comedy Club Network and several other cable shows, Dons entered the Johnny Walker Red Comedy Search. So basically, all about comedy, right? Bit of a strange thing to kind of turn around. But then if we look at his actual producing work, and I'm fairly certain this is the right Alan Dons, because there's no one else that I can find over on IMDb. But I could be wrong. But over on here, we have a look at his producing work, right? So he's had a little bit. Like, he started in 2011, and then he started to push more and more. So nothing which would make you go, oh yeah, he's going to do good at this. There's literally nothing. But there's nothing terrible either. As a writer, again, it's all the same kind of stuff. And again, without confirming that it's the same Alan Dons, because there's no imagery here, and there's no links to anyone else, I'm fairly certain this is the same dude. So this guy could be good or could be bad. Now, we're talking about John Campbell's Frozen Hell. Now, this is the main adaptation that they're looking to, to adapt for this The Thing. Because, of course, John Carpenter, The Thing isn't just John Carpenter's. Yes, he did some staggering work with it, but it's not his work. It is John Campbell's work. So, Frozen Hell, for those that don't know, because we'll take a look at that now, right? This is another recent discovery, this is in 2019, of an earlier version of what is regarded as a science fiction classic. As his preface for this book explains, Alec Novella Lee, author of the recently reviewed biography Astounding, found this in a discovery worthy of the story itself. Whilst going through boxes of author and editor John W. Campbell's stuff in the Harvard Library whilst researching his own book. Now, at the bottom of one box was 112 pages of a manuscript entitled Frozen Hell, and also Pandora, which is some other stuff. Now, you may not immediately recognise those titles, but long-time readers of SF may know the more famous version. The story here is an earlier version with typographical errors, misspellings, and handwritten corrections of one of the most famous science fiction stories of all time, Who Goes There? But it's actually longer, 45 pages longer. That's not a small amount, you know. That is a considerable size difference. Now, Frozen Hell is an earlier version of the tale, and it seems that Campbell was aiming at writing the story as a novel, but when it didn't sell, re-edited it into a shorter form that is much better known today. Now, this Frozen Hell disappeared into the archives until rediscovered by Novella Lee. So understandably, this unearthing, when announced in October 2018, caused a great deal of excitement. And then they started a Kickstarter fund to obviously get it published and things like that, which is crazy, like super, super cool that people kind of push forwards. And then there was even, you know, some sketches and things like that. Now, so it says, to add to this novella-sized book, there are some useful additions. As I've already said, Alec Novella Lee explains a little bit of the background, just explains some bits and pieces. But then, in terms of the story, I mean, that's, it's 45 pages longer. Now, they obviously go on to say, is it worth reading? Now, looking at the two versions together, Who Goes There is undoubtedly tighter and better written, with a lot of superfluous details removed. But yet, Frozen Hell is of interest, if only to show how the story was revised and rewritten. So, it sounds like Alan Dons is just going to take elements of it all and combine it into something that they deem, I guess, a good flow. As you might expect, Frozen Hell is a product of the age it was written and reflects the popular pulp style of 1930s. So there's obviously a bit clunky, there's moments of beauty, and it's also slightly obscured by being combined with more of the techno gobbledygook prevalent in the science fiction writing of the time. But I think there's something very endearing about that kind of stuff. Now, in my opinion, Frozen Hell is good, not better, but it's readable. There are some noticeable differences as a result of being a longer version. By occurring later in the story, the horror element, emphasised from the start in this revised version, is initially less noticeable in this form, which feels most like a typical boys' adventure tale. So that's interesting. Now, the decision to chop the beginning gives the later version a much more dramatic start, whereas this new version sets the scene more leisurely, if perhaps more prettily. We also get the Campbellian maxim of tell, don't show. There's a lot of talk here about the science and the nature of the aliens, so that's cool. That's really, really nice. I quite like that in these things anyway, talk about I've done so many lore videos here on the channel. It's nice to talk about the science behind things, and it's just interesting to dive into the story. Now, obviously, the good news is that despite the story is so good that it rises above all of its weaknesses. So it is, there's some, there's a lot of benefits to this. Now, again, looking at Alan Don's work, who cares? Like, it's nothing crazy. This could be something really, really good for him, though. So a lot of people that are crying, don't remake the thing. Calm your tits. This sounds like something which will be good, actually. Now, yes, John Carpenter's original film took place in remote Antarctica. It is basically Who Goes There, right? But, expanded a little bit as well and things like that. Now, I think that this is a good thing. I'm not particularly good about, Blumhouse being behind it, to be fair, or even Universal. Hopefully, Alan Dons can direct it. Well, not direct it, but direct the movie to a better direction that, say, Blumhouse Productions and Universal would do, because they're terrible. But it's interesting nonetheless. Now, obviously, John Carpenter's, a legend, and what he did with The Thing is legendary. But it'll be interesting to see how this pans out and how this continues down. I don't think it will, nothing's ever going to beat John Carpenter's The Thing. It's a product of its time with some absolutely magnificent practical effects. But if anything's going to come close, something taking more elements from the original plus, an earlier work and combining it all together, yeah, hopefully that's going to be really, really good. But we just don't know. The elements that they're going to take from The Thing from Another World could be interesting as well. But what do you guys think about this? I was sent this over on Twitter last night. You can follow me over there at Mr. H Reviews, all one word. If you see anything like this, please do send it on over to me, because I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know. If you are new here, please do hit subscribe. And for returning subscribers, just check you are subscribed. YouTube seems to be screwing my channel, basically, unsubscribing people, and also sandboxing me. It's not recommending my videos or notifying anyone of my videos, even my subscribers. So check you're notified. Please share this video. Get this news out there. Get my content out there. I really would appreciate it. I'm going to be asking you, consistently now to please do share the videos, because it's either Copper, which is this new child thing, child protection detail stuff nonsense, or it's YouTube messing my channel up. But one of the two, the channel is going downhill, which is not cool. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, have a Mr. H. Take care.